Caricom leaders wrapped up discussions in Georgetown, Guyana, agreeing that they can only be as strong as the efforts they make in addressing common challenges. Our Open Roach traveled with the Prime Minister and his delegation, and she tells us that the nation's chief summed up the conference this way.
It was really a strong, purposeful discussion.
That's how Prime Minister the Right Honourable Perry Christie described high-level talks in Guyana, where Caribbean leaders met to discuss many thorny issues of concern to the 15-member regional bloc. Among them, crime.
There was a very spirited debate on issues of security, the incidence of murders, the incidence of all sorts of crimes, and how best could we address that.
And in addressing crime, the Bahamas is about to pass legislation which will give access to Caribbean databases identifying undesirables entering and leaving ports. But Prime Minister Christie also expressed a concern about those with apparent Bahamian ties being deported from the United States.
The question is, how do we cope with issues of that kind? And we have to, as a community, as a region, impress upon the Americans that we are the third border. Mexico is a border, the Caribbean is a border, and they should be equally concerned about what is happening in the region and be able to help us make an effort. We all agreed that we must ourselves strengthen our own capacities to deal with crime and national security issues, and then in that context approach the Americans.
Another big agenda item for Caricom was correspondent banks and their de-risking practices. International lending agencies with relationships in the Caribbean no longer want to take the risk of doing business with them, thus affecting regional trade, economic welfare, and the transfer of remittances.
It was recognized by all that we have to somehow make more tangible progress towards bringing resolution to it. And so a lot of time was spent on the process that we should use to do so, and how we could get about convincing relevant authorities throughout the United States of America, Canada, and Britain on the importance of this. But this was essentially about the United States of America and their policies as it affects correspondent banks in our own countries.
In summing up discussions, the nation's chief said it takes a united approach to stand up to the challenges which are common to the Caribbean. I'm Opal Roach, ZNS Network News.